Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a bill that brings new resources to victims of domestic and dating violence. The Helping Abuse Victims Escape Now, or Haven Act, was authored by domestic violence survivor and House District 22 candidate Amy Trask. The new law aligns protections for victims of dating violence with domestic violence statutes. The second part creates a web-based alert system, allowing victims to silently contact law enforcement through an individualized phone number they can call that's different than 911.
Statistically, the most dangerous is when you try and leave. So it takes 7 attempts.
Hey, Sheetamite, she's here to help. One of the first things that came to my mind was the scripture that says, let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nays. All right, and first and foremost, before I get into it, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and the only begotten Son in his true and proper names. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my apostle and elder as well, Aharawan, Bangash Allah, here at the Lions Den Camp in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Wifim, and children that believe in truth and sincerity. So when you in a relationship, it's either a yay or a nay. That's one of the first things that came in my mind as far as the scriptures, That's how you know it's confusion. This is mischief by law. This is another attack on you Jakes, all right, you Israelite men, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indian men, all right, and those men who may think or look like the other nations, but they bear the same spirit as such because they bear witness to this truth, all right? They have a testimony against this place, man, all right? They're vexed. The filthy conversation of the wicked, how this present kingdom and society is ran, right? you ultimately compelled, all right, by way of faith and fear, all right, to resort to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, this truth, all right? But for them to set up, all right, and this is just another modern day Janet Reno, all right? Janet Reno is a Sheetamite who established child support, which is unconstitutional. And this is another ploy on the Israelite household. Again, we go through various topics, various lessons, and the most recent previous lessons was on, taking that strong man out of the house. We brought that up in previous lessons, all right? That's how this devil is wiser than Daniel. He know how to manipulate the Israelite family as the Lord has gave him power and control to do. All right, as we're in captivity for disobeying the Heavenly Father and disobeying his law, statutes, and commandments. All right, so we almost out of these curses, man. To where these curses go be brought upon these devils. We see it now, pertaining into Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. All right, but here it's like, how do you have a non-emergency number for a woman who's supposedly battered? All right. It's either a yay or a nay. It's either she has the emergency, she's calling 911, or she's not. So it's just giving another little window, all right, ultimately to break you and to trap you Jakes out there, all right? That's why you have to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this truth. One of the first scriptures I want to bring out is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, just going into the law and into the curses, all right? Because we still up under them curses, man. Until the Lord show up. Until he put this devil out of his misery, man. Until this system is completely wiped away, man. We still up under those curses. So we approach that test of the MOTB, the mark of the beast. We still up under those curses, man. All right? There's no prosperity in this place. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, Salaki, and verse 50. I start at verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fleeth. Right. And this devil represents the eagle. This eagle has followed him from empire to empire, from captivity to captivity, from Greek with Alexander. All right, even on the money. All right, they exalted themselves as the eagle to the Roman Empire, even on the money. He exalts and represent himself as the eagle. And even today, all right, you know what they say when they supposedly fake the moon landing, all right? The eagle has landed. You know, look at the back of a dollar bill today. It's symbolic, all right? So it's witchcraft on it. You know, it has the Latin on it. It has the eagle, all right? So this eagle is what represents this guy. It's his mascot. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Right, speaking Babel. All right, this is the land of confusion. English, a perverse language, a drawn out language. All right, this is one of the hardest languages to actually learn when it comes to languages. That's because it's all new speech. It's all drawn out words. When you think of and you listen and you start to learn other languages, it's really straight to the point. You know, it's simple. It's not all these elongated filler words, because Esau is full of filler, because he's full of deception. All right,
on average for some.
He's about creating loopholes. All right, a deceiver. All right, that's ultimately what a devil is. A devil is a deceiver. All right, devil goes into the Latin meaning diablos, meaning to deceive. But here back in Deuteronomy 28 and 50, a nation of fierce continents, right, a fierce continents, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Right, they show no favor to the old nor the young. All right, just in the most recent news, you have the Karmelo Anthony incident, the situation. Our elder did some spiritual commentary on it this morning. I was gonna do a lesson, but I'd rather not. It's the Lord's will. All right. For that young brother to go through what he's going through. This is why this devil system has to be completely away, completely abolished. Because you have a lose-lose out here, Jake, even if you was to increase in his society, all right, in his system, and try to be like them. It don't work. It don't operate. You know, you see how you try to move your children or give them a better life in this society, it still don't work. All right. You know, but that's neither here nor there, not to go too in depth on that situation. But that situation and this is all amounting to how they trying to get us up out of here, man. When I say us, I mean you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American and Seminole Indian men, the men of the Bible, the gods of the Bible. All right, as the God, as the Lord, all right, the power of the Bible, the Creator of heaven and earth, deemed you to be a God. All right, but what he say, man, we shall die like men. All right. It's the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 82. Well, I should get Psalms 94 and 20 first, since I'm there. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? Right, this is mischief by law, to have a non-emergency number for, you know, if she was to get emotionally mad or upset, she'll call somebody going to jail, bro. It's just another excuse for the police to arrive and they just say, hey, you have to go down for taxpayers' dollars. It's all tricks and trades of this damn devil, man. If you ain't watching, as you know, 2/3 of our people, they're not watching because they sidetrack with everything else that's going on as far as entertainment. All right, the NBA championships and again the bread and circus. All right, what it's meant to do is to sidebar you. All right, to distract you to what's really going on. All right, the weightier matters, the prophecy. All right, and how these devils is inching up on you, man. It's not gonna be a real man left. That's what's gonna make a man more precious than fine gold. All right, they're trying to abolish the real men. All right, take the backbone out of the real men, spiritually butt break them. All right, through society's new norms, social constructs. All right, especially when it comes to you Southern Kingdom men. All right, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, you Jake men, so-called black men. All right. That's the lesson that you should get out of this is that it's a lose-lose in this devil system, and we're being forced to maneuver like in the Martin Luther King way, right? To where we gonna have to bear our cross all the way, even if it's to death. But we know the Lord gonna lift up that standard, man. Spoken of in Isaiah 59:19, and we go get it. All right, but this is Deuteronomy chapter 82. And 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, right? But ye shall die like men, right? And fall like one of the princes, right? We shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Why? Because we up under the curses. All right, we under that curse of Adam. All right, we got to get out of these fleshly bodies, this chains of darkness. We got to get out of this devil system, man, this captivity first. All right, so it's about coming to the acknowledgement of this truth, coming into the fear of the Lord, man, understanding the Lord's will. All right, and staying out the way and allowing the Lord's will to be done. Well, you go allow it whether you like it or not. Ain't nothing you or nor I could do about it. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 66, Salakia, chapter 28, and verse 66. And it says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life, man. And that's the reality of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. All right, those are the speckled bird, male, female, and child. That's the reality of it, man. They want to get you out of here, man. This past camp, we had a Proud Boy, a Klansman, a swastika wearer, right? He pretty much came up and just spoke his truth. What's really on his heart, and that's on a lot of them heart. They just don't have the pride that devil that we encountered, a top demon. They don't have that pride as him, you know. Basically, he came up to the camp saying, you know, how he hate ninjas and we should be out of the country, you know. He don't want to take no accountability of his people and their doings and his doings from past from the past, as we, all been here before. They don't want to take accountability. The Lord got to make them accept and take accountability. He got to give them that cup of trembling, man. He got to pour it out without mixture, without measure upon these devils, man, and the heathen. You know, that's why out of this lesson and what's going on, we got to buckle down. The carnal route ain't going to be a route to take. All right, that's going to be failure in this truth, in this walk. All right, as we inching and closing towards the end. All right. We got to have that faith to know that the Lord ain't going to allow this devil to touch us, to hurt us. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 66, again from the top. Well, I start at verse 65, and it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, God. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, God. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, right? Ultimately to break you down, for you to be remorseful. That's the ultimate goal here in this society, in this captivity, is to revert back to the Lord. Or if you're not reverting back to the Lord, being the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indian, an Israelite, according to the Bible, you're missile food. This is the book of Psalms, because again, it goes into what? We have no assurance for our lives here. That Karmelo Anthony showed you that. There's no assurance for your lives here. You can't protect yourself. You're in the Constitution as 3/5 of a man. You have no might. And to double down on it, not even in your household, not amongst your woman, not amongst your children. You don't have no might here with this devil. That's a vexing thing. That's captivity. That's chastisement. And we got to understand that that's a part of the walk. It's a part of this truth. That's what we put upon ourselves. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37. And I'll start at verse 8, just to get a point. And I got to practice this too. All right, so it's easier said than done. But again, we have the acknowledgement of what we need to do. So we got to buckle down. And we got the discipline, we got the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to do so. We got the tools to build and to continue building. We got the tools to finish. We got the finishing tools too. You know, after the body work, after the building, it comes the easy stuff. You know, the galvanizing, the painting. You know, making things even, sanding stuff down, right? And then you beautify it. You know. Just like the gold being melted from its infirmities. It's a cooling process towards the end. All right, before the buffering, before the shining. All right, we got to go into that cooling phase. But this Psalm chapter 37 and verse 8, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, right? Just like this devil. Don't try to get even with him. He don't deserve that. Let the Lord get with him first. He deserved that. Verse 9, for evildoers shall be cut off. That's what we got to know. That's why we got to stay out of the way. All right? Don't fret thyself because of evildoers. Don't join the party of wickedness. You know? We don't take our cue from other people or from the people of this world. We don't take our cue from the people of this world. You know? They gonna be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth, right? For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be, right? Yeah, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be, right? He gonna wipe away as a dream, the scriptures say. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Right, that's all he doing is plotting. You know, the scriptures speak on him being a cunning hunter. You know, he lays snares privily. He's a fowler. He's a trap setter. And that's all he does by way of his laws, his unrighteous decrees, his draconian measures, right? His system. You know, that's why the Lord got a trap out here for him. You know. Verse 13, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Right. Lord laughing at this devil, man. You know, seeing what they did to the young man over there in Texas. The Lord laughing at that. Lord laughing at it. You know, whether he can fight it and get a better deal on an appeal or not, the Lord laughing at it. Because it's just tallying up your wickedness. Your disdain for your brother Jacob. And that's why you cut off forever, according to Obadiah 1 and 7. I believe that, because the violence of thy brother's shame shall cover thee. That shame is just going to cover you. It's covering them. It says, verse 14 here in Psalms 37 and 14, and I'll read the 18, just a quick read. It says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Right. Say they label you the minority. They push you in the ghettos and in the worst places of society. They give you the butt end of the jobs, if they give you a job to begin with. You're the last one hired, first one fired, and the attack is still on you. Hey, that devil that came up to the camp last camp, that's one of the things he said, man. We're almost 7%. He was bringing out the statistics. You know how they're being extinct. So Obadiah 1 and 18 is coming into fruition, so to speak. Well, not really. They got to build a kingdom first for 1,000 years, and then they're gonna be wiped away. But they're being wiped away already, man. And that's what we gotta know. That's what gotta move and grow our patience, yield more patience, to know that the Lord doing his work. We gotta do ours. Verse 15, their swords shall enter into their own heart, and their bows, Salaki, and their bows shall be broken. A little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked, right? James 5 and 1, how do you rich men, So again, the Lord told us we gods, but we go die like men, But not in these times. We hoping for the Lord to lift up that standard, man. This is Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, man. And that term standard goes into taking flight. Basically divine intervention, man. Spiritual power, being able to take flight. Like Yahweh Shah did, man, in the midst of the crowd, just disappearing. Teleporting. Not telekinesis, but teleporting. Verse 20, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and to them that turn from transgression in Jacob, right? Because that's the only people that could be saved. That's the only people that can return back to the Lord, man. The Lord's people themselves. And that's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, the Israelites. Around 18 nations, he chose the Israelites to be a peculiar people unto himself. A peculiar nation unto himself. Holy. Holy meaning set apart. All right? But even 2/3 of our people, they're amongst the world. They're part of, their father is his father, the devil. So that's the lust that they do his work. They do his bidding, according to John 8 and 44, right? But the Lord gonna lift up that standard, man. And a Redeemer shall come to Zion, right? Zion. And to them that turn from transgression in Jacob, right? Because Jacob, he wrestled with an angel and changed his name to Israel. He begot the 12 sons, which represent the 12 tribes, meaning the 12 nations that amount to that one united nation, right? Like NATO, got all these different nations that amount up to one united front. Well, the 12 tribes of Israel is 12 nations that amount up to one nation. Which is the Lord's peculiar treasure, man, which he set apart unto himself. All right, so it's only a matter of time till Jake fucking smell the coffee and see it's gonna be too late. All right, but then again, the Lord go give Jake dominion. All right, because it's gonna be the end of this devil society and system to get him out of the way completely. All right, so it's almost time, man. As much as he think that he's gonna create, he gonna keep on setting up unrighteous decrees, laws to put the Israelite man in more of a bind, in more of a captivity in this system, leading up to the chip. All right, the Lord go laugh at him. The Lord go set up his garrisons, his traps for this damn devil. It's already set. It's already laid. He already caught. All right, and he going into slavery. And that's thus saith the Lord, according to Revelations chapter 13, verse 9 and 10, and various other scriptures. I just read you Isaiah 59 and 20, or how those who return from Jacob, showing you that it's only Jacob that could be saved, man. It's only Israel that could be saved. All right. So again, they trying to wipe us out. They mad. So just as in the times of the birth of the Messiah, Herod trying to stop the birth of the Messiah. slay the firstborn. Hey, Esau had that same mindset today, man. He trying to stop the coming of the Lord, man, but he can't stop that. You know, it's going to lead them to Revelations 12 and 7, the war in heaven. Michael fighting against this devil and his angels, right? All right, so he in that mindset even more so than now. All right, trying to stop the Lord's second coming. Project Bluebeam, deception all over across the board, right? And provoking. He provoking us he provoking you through the Spirit. By the way, his mischief by law, how he operates and act towards you in society, is all purposely done. They be on cue. It's just hard for our people to get on cue. And I end off with that, because the Lord got to get our people on cue. Our people ain't gonna wake up until it hit home, and it's gonna hit home. The Lord go cause he gonna cause more damage, more judgment until it hit home, man. And then Jake go hit the streets. It's Genesis 49 and 9. This is verse 7. It say Genesis 49 and 7. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Right. You know, Jacob, they'll have their own animosity towards their own people. But here you got Esau doing his dollar. He doing his dollar on you. And ain't nobody do nothing to Esau yet. Not to entice that, not to incite that, as we don't incite that. We preach against it. Carnality is death. All right? But just the carnality that Jake put forth out here amongst his own people, it has yet to hit Esau. That's how you know when they do hit Esau, it's a wrap for him. The Lord go bring it to him. The Lord go put it on Jake's mind to put it on Esau's double hockey sticks, right? This Genesis 49 and verse 7 from the top again. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath. I'm just reading just to get the proper context, right? Yeah, because this Jacob's talking to his sons, right? But it says, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom they brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Right, the hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies, man. And the Lord changed not. So ye sons of Jacob are not consumed, roughly paraphrasing. So just as is in Genesis, it's going to be in Revelations, man, these end times. It's just that 2/3 gonna have to get their ass handed to him for disobeying the Lord, you know. But Jake is gonna win the race war, because this devil, this the end all be all of his eons, his age, his era, his system. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's child shall bow down before thee. Right, thy father's child shall bow down before thee, because Judah is what? The top nation out of the whole nation of Israel, where Christ springeth from. Though it's evident that the Lord springeth out of the tribe of Judah, which would be the so-called Negroes in society today, which is smite with utter madness, confusion, had no clue what's going on the planet Earth right now. And the whole earth and the whole world is about them. Verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. Right, he's a lion's whelp. You think of a lion's whelp, a lion that is wounded, right? He can't protect his family how he should, right? You look at the animal kingdom and the animal planet, how, another male can come over and take, the woman. That's just as in this society, as we coming up upon World War III, right? These women are going to be for booties, for loot, for prey, to be pirated, right? That's why you got a lot of the Evites in the military. So just as a lion, he can't protect his family, but that male lion can come and take his whole family. In layman terms, he can come and take his whole family if he lose that fight or kill him, and if he does, all the firstborns, all the sons, all the male cubs are gonna die too. Only thing live is the women, the lioness. So it go back to how important and how you are as you a God, man. The Lord labeled you a God, but you shall die like men. And the gods of the earth have no clue of what's going on. They don't resort back to the Father, man, the source, you know? Say a lion's whelp, man, a lion that's injured. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. And usually the lions, they'll go up into the trees and shit. They'll go up into the trees, Salakia. When they, like, you know, they'll go up into the trees during the day for, you know, cool air, shade. They'll go up into the trees, or if they're hurt, they'll go up into the trees. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up, right? Who shall rouse him up? Jake spiritually is an old lion, man, sitting here just wallowing in his madness, wallowing in his wickedness, wallowing in the mud, and allowing this devil to do whatever he want to do by way of his laws, his system, his society, and it's just going up under Jake's nose, man. Jake don't have a clue what's going on. Then you come up, it's a young Jake, get 35 years off of defending himself, man. That show you that there's no assurance for our lives here, man. You can't even defend yourself here, bro. This devil system has to completely get out of the way. And that's what World War III is for. The MOTB, the Lord's test, is for, where this devil's gonna try to chip every human being. That's what it's for. And it's for the righteous to stay out of the way and let the Lord do his work with the hopes of being saved, with the hopes of the Lord, lifting that standard up against this devil, man. And we brought out Isaiah 59:19. We want that standard to be lifted, man. When this devil come in rushing like a flood, he think he can put hands and touch. The scriptures say, touch not his anointed, man. The Lord go bring back that divine intervention, that spiritual power that haven't been seen upon the earth for thousands of years, man. Right? The power to shake columns like Samson, right? To smite a whole army of troops with blindness. That's what we gonna need in these times, man, to get up out of this devil's yoke. All right? Shalom, Hapadan, DTA, until the next one.